In this video, we will talk about the carbohydrate foods and distinguish between simple and complex versions. Let's begin by looking at the foods with significant sources of carbohydrate. Everything in the grain group has carbohydrates such as bread, pasta, rice, and cereal. Carbohydrate gives grain its starchy component. All of the fruit group contain carbohydrates such as grapes, cherries, pineapple, berries, and bananas. The carbohydrate gives fruit its sweet flavor. All of the vegetables contain carbohydrates such as onions, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, and spinach. Carbohydrate gives vegetables its fibrous texture. Some of the protein foods have carbohydrate, but only the plant types of protein like legumes, which are dried beans. Finally, the milk group has carbohydrates. The lactose in milk that some people cannot tolerate is a carbohydrate. So we can say that carbohydrate is the only macronutrient that has food sources in all of the food groups. In other words, the majority of our food choices should provide carbohydrate in the diet. Does that surprise you? Carbohydrates have been given a bad reputation, but the reality is that carbohydrates are not bad. They just taste really good, so we eat too much. We need to consume a lot of carbohydrates because its major function is to provide us with energy. Okay, maybe not quite that kind of energy, but it does provide the energy for your muscles to work, your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, your brain to think. As a matter of fact, even though the brain is only 2% of your body weight, it uses 20% of the energy. And carbohydrates are what the cells use for energy. One way we like to look at carbohydrates is whether they are simple or complex. The simple carbohydrates are the monosaccharides and disaccharides. The word saccharide means sugar. Mono means one and di means two. So a monosaccharide has one sugar and a disaccharide has two sugars. When we say the word sugar in nutrition, we are referring to the simple carbohydrates. If we are talking about the white table sugar that everyone loves to consume, that is only one type of sugar. This type of table sugar is actually sucrose. The complex carbohydrates are made up of many sugars. We are going to focus on two types of complex carbohydrates, starch and fiber. Starch has many sugar molecules, and yes, the starches are all broken down into sugar in your body to provide energy. But because they are so complex, it takes the body a lot of work to break them down. That is a good thing because it helps slow down how quickly sugar goes into your bloodstream. Fiber is different because the human body cannot break it down, so it goes straight through your body and into your poop. Its role is to help your bowel movements stay regular. It also can slow down other carbohydrates to help blood sugars too. So let's go back to my plate. Remember that I said that carbohydrate gives fruit its sweet flavor and milk has lactose that some people cannot tolerate? Well, these are the simple carbohydrates. Then I mentioned the carbohydrates in grains contain starch and the vegetables contain fiber. Well, the truth is that whole grains also have fiber, and some vegetables like potatoes are starchy, and even fruit has fiber. The legumes also have a nice mix of both starch and fiber. We consider these carbohydrate foods complex. As you can see, there is not a bad food in this picture. We do not designate simple or complex as good or bad. They are good and not so good choices that we can make within each category. But neither type is inherently good or bad. In the next video, we will look at what we consider good and bad carbohydrate choices.